Hi, this is Sensei James Leonelli from Sensei's Weekly Mindset, and I'm here to talk to you about betonline.net. Betonline.net is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from football to basketball, soccer, and esports. Don't forget my personal favorite, MMA. We've got it all on betonline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, we can help you find those on BetOnline as well. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. And don't forget BetOnline for NHL, boxing, golf, and like I said, my personal favorite, the sport of MMA. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. Life isn't always easy, and you don't have to face it alone. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you have access to a network of over 25,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of needs. To get started, you simply answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's most convenient for you. The best part is, if your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price, all from the comfort at home. To start your journey and to get 10% off of your first month, go to betterhelp.com/sensei. That's betterhelp.com/sensei. BetterHelp, you deserve to be happy. Hi guys, Sensei James Leonelli here to talk to you about another one of our sponsors, LMNT. An electrolyte drink mix. Each one of these little packets gives you exactly what you need to keep you as hydrated as all us athletes like to be. If you're like me, you work out a lot, and when you work out a lot, you also sweat a lot. Now, when we sweat, we don't lose just water, of course. We also sweat out salt. We sweat out electrolytes. So each one of these packets contains 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium, giving you everything that you need in order to maintain optimal hydration and nothing that you don't. So to go online, place an order for your sample pack, and to get yourself a bonus free sample pack, you're going to go to this website right here, elementallabs.refr.cc/James Leonelli. You're going to see this down in the video below, but I'll say it one more time for you. elementallabs.refr.cc/James Leonelli. Again, it's a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing that you don't. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Sensei's Weekly Mindset. I'm Sensei James Leonelli, owner and head instructor of Tiger Schulman's here in Smithtown. Once again, I am back in my home recording space ready to give you guys this week's food for thought. Wearing a cool jiu-jitsu shirt that I got in my Thai Gear mystery box. Check them out, thaigear.com, for all sorts of cool apparel like this and many, many other styles. As always, guys, I'm loving when I see like the download numbers and the view numbers go up and up. I very much appreciate seeing you guys do that. Please make sure you guys leave a rate and review wherever you're listening. Comment by all means. I'd love to see what you guys think about what I'm talking about. And of course, guys, the most important thing you can do for me, share the podcast. I get messages from people all the time who are like, hey, I was listening to this and you're totally right about this. I'm like, please share it. Put it in your Instagram story. Take a screenshot on your phone. Post it in your Instagram story. I'd appreciate it more than you know. So as we get going today, just a thought process that kind of entered my mind yesterday as life did what it does. All right, so when it comes to my training schedule, I am very religious when it comes to my training schedule, right? I know these are the days and the times that I go and I train, and I do everything I can to not miss those days. I know I'm supposed to train at this place at this time on this day, and I do that very routinely. I said to someone not long ago that I would be the easiest mafia hit in the world because my schedule is so predictable. Right? I'm always in the same places at the same times. Very true. All right, but it goes a little deeper than that, right? One thing I never do, I never ever do, is I never take the I don't feel like going today. I never take that day off. I never do. Right? The days where I'm stiff, where my body's feeling beat up, maybe I didn't get a great night's sleep, whatever, right? Where I'm just like, I'm not feeling it. Those are the days I definitely still go. You're going to find me in class training on those days, 100%, right? And the reason that I do that is very, very simple. See, and it happened to me yesterday where I was supposed to go train at my time at 11 o'clock. I was going to go train and knew it. It's very predictable. Everybody in the house knows my schedule. It's, like I said, it's as predictable as the sunrise. And as it was, we had something going on with one of the cars. Nothing major, just like, hey, I finally got the part in that you guys need. Stupid little thing, tire pressure monitor sensor went bad. So we had to bring it to the person so they could put it back in and recalibrate it and this and that and the other. So that meant that of the two cars, one had to go with Mrs. Sensei to work and the other one had to go to the shop. So we had to set it up where she was going to bring me with the car, with the truck to where we were getting repaired and then bring me back home. And then I had no car to go train. It was like, yeah, well, this is what it is. Right. And see, that right there is why I don't take I don't feel like it, days off. I don't take those days off because I know from my own experience that whether you want to take days off or not, life is going to give them to you. It's just the nature of the beast. Right. Like one distinction I will draw, and this is very important, is there's a big difference between I'm not feeling it today. I'm not motivated. I feel tired. I feel stiff, whatever. There's a big difference between those days. And there's a big difference between hey, I'm sick. I'm coughing. I'm running a fever. I'm maybe a little nauseous, right? Those days are the ones that I don't go train because I know, I don't want to be that guy in the mat. I don't want to be the guy that's coughing in your face while we're doing jiu-jitsu. That's just not who I want to be. I don't want to be the guy who's got a runny nose while you're throwing a punch at me in kickboxing and now you got my boogers on your glove. That's disgusting. I try to avoid that at all costs, right? And I know that those days where I'm going to be unwell for whatever reason, those days happen very infrequently, maybe 3 times a year, if that. I know that the uh-ohs of like car repair and stuff like that, of appointments from the kid's school that I have no control over. They're basically like, hey, this is your appointment time, make it work, right? And all things like that, right? Mrs. Sensei had to get a test done a couple weeks ago, and it just happened to be on the one day a week that doctor does that particular test at that particular hospital. Happens to be one of the days that I train. Sucks to be me, had to go do it. See, I know that there's going to be parts of my life that are outside of my control. No matter how much I try to control everything and make everything to my will the way I'd like it, I know that's unrealistic. I also know that's not the way the world works. I know that no matter how hard you try, there are certain things in life that will never be under your control, right? You getting sick, for example, car breaking down, things of that ilk, right? One of the kids gets sick and you got to bring them to the doctor. These things happen. And because these things happen, 100% attendance is never going to happen. So I know that already. Because I know that already, I'm not going to add days. I'm not going to add days, right? Because my goal, of course, with all my training is perfect attendance. I want to make sure I make every single one. And now, the places that I go and I train and all the training that I do, it's not like attendance is taken. It's not like people are like, oh, you're here today, right? It's not like I get some reward at the end, like I get a perfect attendance award or anything. But I strive to get to perfect attendance because that's what I'd like my students to do. So if I want them to do it, I have to live it, number one. Number two, I love the way I feel when I train, so I have to make sure that I make the time to be disciplined enough to get to training when I'm supposed to. It's funny. I was having this discussion earlier today with Sensei Castillo from the Huntington location. He and I were just talking about uh, stuff and just training people and all that, and training ourselves and all of that. And, I'm like, I'm now at a point in my life where maybe athletically, right, the competition aspect of my training, where I'm looking at the 20-year-old kid next to me on the bag and he's going so fast, and I'm like, yeah, he's going to be able to turn his head to the left after doing that. I'm not, right? I, I, I was having a conversation with Mr. Sensei earlier in the week. I was training with somebody doing some jujitsu, and they shot a takedown. And when they shot a takedown, I sprawled on their takedown and I pulled my chin up out of the way to, not let them shoot into my chin. In hindsight, I probably should have tucked my head down, but I just got them out of the way so I get my arms down, because my whole objective was what I was trying to get towards their back, which I managed to do. But in doing so, in that quick little jerk motion up of my head, I did something funky to my neck and I couldn't turn my head all the way left and all the way right. And I know that's a reality of being a 40-something-year-old man. Well aware. That's that's where I am now. I know that. And I know that all of my training sessions are not going to be the amazing training sessions I used to have when I was 20, where I went home and my forehead was sore because I was battling it out, sparring with guys who were fighting, and you tuck my chin down and take those shots on the forehead and wade forward. I don't do that anymore. I do them very, very, very rarely, because as a 20-year-old, I could do that. I could recover. I'd recover in the car ride home. I'd be teaching the rest of the day and then get up and do it again. I'd drive to New Jersey for all this, right? And I could do that continuously, right? I know there's a difference now in who I am, and there's a difference in where my life is at now. When I was 20, I didn't have kids I had to worry about, right? The possibility of one of those kids being sick and me having to bring them to the doctor or the dentist or whatever, like those things, that was not a possibility. Wasn't something I had to consider. Now I'm at a point in my life where I'm no longer like looking at other people to compete when I train. I'm now looking at like my own discipline level. Like, what can I do to be more disciplined of a person? Like I do a lot of things that a lot of people might consider extreme, martial arts being one of them, right? And I'm very disciplined about a lot of the things that I do. But one thing I kind of strive for in my life, just overall, is I kind of strive to be a little bit more disciplined all the time. I try to go to that next level. Every year when I set my goals for myself, I try to say like, okay, how can I up this a little bit? What can I do to up my discipline level? Now, is it about performance at my age? Not really. Like, performance is not what I'm after, right? What I'm after is longevity, right? And those are different journeys, obviously. When you're an athlete and you're trying to like grind in a camp to get yourself to maximum performance so you can peak right at the fight and do amazing things, that's one thing. But like what I think about is like, I have kids now in my life that I have to raise, that I have to have the energy and the endurance and this and that and the other. And I know the way that I looked at my father, and I still do. I always think of my father as like one of the strongest men I know, just physically, psychologically, whatever. And I know how important it is for a kid to have a dad that they can look at and be like, my dad's Superman, right? And like being able to have them feel like that, even when I get into eventually my 50s, my 60s, my 70s, I want them to still look at me and be like, God, I want to live a life that I want them to live, so that they're healthy, that they're strong when they get to that age, because that's what we all want for our kids, for them to be better off than us, right? So understanding that and knowing the stamp that I'm trying to leave in the world is another reason that I don't ever take those I don't feel like it days off, because I know how that works. That's a domino. And if I let that first domino fall, what's going to happen is the next time that domino comes around, it's a lot easier to knock over. And the next time, it's a lot easier to knock over. The next time, it's a lot easier to knock over. And the more you negotiate with yourself, the more that becomes habit. The more it's easy to lay off on other things, right? And that's not the person I want to be. I don't want to be the person who takes the, I don't really feel like it, day off. Because every time you do that, it's easier to do it again the next time. And I don't want to be moving in that direction. I want to be moving in the exact opposite direction. I want to be the person that at the end of my week, I like deserve the rest that I take, right? Like it's always funny. By the time Saturdays come around, I come home, and it's very rare that I'm like, hey, let's go do a million things on Saturday. Like I'm not that person, because the grind that has happened from Monday to Saturday, between what I've done around the house, what I've done for the podcast, for broadcasters, for flex fights, for all these extracurricular things, for my school, for my own training. Like there's so many of those things that if I quantified them over that, what is that, 144 hours, if I quantified everything that happened within that, well, slightly less because my school's done earlier in the day, um, let's call it 136 hours. If I quantified everything I did in that 136 hours, I feel like at the end of most of those weeks, the list would be very impressive, the amount that I got done. And I think part of what that is, it goes back to the level that I hold myself to. And I think that's very tied to the same mentality of the I don't feel like it days. Now, the thing is, as a parent, I think similarly, because I mean, I know how I was raised. My parents never let me take the I don't feel like it day off. That was not an excuse. My parents had a very, very strict and very simple set of rules when it came to attendance of your activities, right? If you were sick, if you had a fever, if you were throwing up, it was coming out the other end, something like that. If you had one of those things going on, right? Sinus infection, something. If you had something like that going on and you were just a miserable, sick mess, cool, you didn't have to go. If vacation happened to line up with when that activity was, okay, you didn't have to go. The other super important life events, i.e., somebody passes away, somebody is born, family, and like those type of things, right? Those very, very, very rare family instances. When those happen, okay, you don't have to go, right? But they knew that life was going to give me enough of those anyway, that like the rest of the time I was going. I didn't have a choice in the matter. You know, like I remember there were times when I signed up for an activity and it was cool. It was fun when I signed up for it. And then like it became drudgery because I wasn't that good at it. I wasn't practicing it afterwards. I wasn't as interested in it as I thought I was. And then it would get time, you know, we'd get through the middle of the season or the unit or the whatever it was that I was signed up for. And I'd start to come up with creative reasons as to why I didn't need to go. And my mom would just look at me and she'd be like, do you have a fever? No. You throwing up? No. You bleeding? Nope. No one's here? All right, you're going. Like she just said it to me like a checklist like that. And obviously that's instilled something in me now that even as an adult, I feel that same way. But now as someone who works with kids, I see the exact same thing happen, right? When I see a parent that gives in to their kid, that's giving a hard time that day, what happens is now negotiation becomes a thing. Now, what happens is that kid, the next time they don't feel like going, they'll just throw a fit again because they got over on their parents once. What's stopping them from doing it again? Nothing. Right? And they continue this process over and over and over again until they've conditioned the parent. Right? It's funny. They say, like, if you ever look at like sales training things, they always say in sales, a sale is made either way. Either the consumer who is buying buys, or the consumer who doesn't buy convinces the salesman of their excuses. So one way or the other, a sale is made. Now, the same thing happens when it comes to kids, right? And again, I always hate to draw the parallel between an animal and a human being, but it is a good one. For example, like obviously we have puppy Kane, who's a year old, and when we're teaching him to walk on the leash, Mrs. Sensei and I sometimes have a little bit of a disagreement there because I like to be very strict all the time. I want his head by my knee and I just want to hold him there. And if he pulls, I pull him back and put him right where I want him and he goes there. And, you know, if we're on like a leisurely stroll, like when we were away on vacation and camping, she's like, oh, you know, let him sniff. It'll tire him out a little more, this, that, the other. And I was like, now we're building bad habits, right? Because then what happens is now either when you're walking that dog, you're either training the dog or the dog is training you. And the same holds true with your kids. right? My parents had a hard and fast line. And it's funny, even though they might have relaxed in some ways when it came to my younger siblings, um, they didn't relax that, right? Like me and my sister will often lament that our youngest brother, when we were out shoveling snow, when we were kids, didn't matter how little we are. If mom and dad were outside shoveling snow, we were out there with our little Fisher Price and beach shovel, shoveling into a bucket and clearing up the stairs. We had to be out there. We had to be doing it. And, they softened on our brother and he didn't have to do that as much. But when it came to things like their strict adherence to their attendance policy, listen, we signed you up. We signed you up. We paid for it. You're going. Unless you can meet one of those criteria. If you're not meeting one of those criteria, you're going. And that's something that's stuck with all of us. It's funny how like you see people push against it, but now, A, being a parent myself, and more importantly, B, seeing how many kids this is, it's such a pattern. The kids whose parents bring them, no matter what, and more importantly, the parent that communicates to me, hey, today was one of those days, needed to push him, needed to like do what I needed to do to get him here. I'm like, great. Awesome. You did exactly the right things. You brought them in on the rough day. You let me know, because here's the thing. On that rough day, that kid's going to do 10 things right. They might do 90 things wrong, but they're going to do 10 things right. But now when they do those 10 things right, I know those are the things I have to zero in on, and I got to pump that kid up and make that kid feel like they did an incredible job, which they likely did at those 10 things. Again, I'm not going to focus on the 90 things they did wrong. I'm going to focus on the 10 they did right. And I'm really going to give that kid the pump and the praise that they deserve. Because now, what do they really deserve the praise for? For getting in there on the day they didn't feel like it. That's great. That's phenomenal. Now that kid is starting to learn the lesson. They're starting to learn some stress inoculation. Where now when they feel this kind of stress, when they feel that, I don't want to go, now they know how to defeat that voice in their mind. That is so huge. That is an incredible thing that so many people don't develop. I'll tell you a little aside here that is tangentially related. I remember years ago, my wife had a coworker, and she was around our age. We were friendly-ish with her, and she had an attendance problem with work. If she didn't feel like going, she would call out sick all the time, and she did it so often that she would be required to get a doctor's note if she was out. If she was out, they wanted to see that you went to the doctor's office. They didn't want like, oh, I have a headache today, so I can't come to work. They wanted you to actually, oh, you're sick? Okay, go to the doctor. You go to the doctor's here when you're in my office. You're clear to return to work. They wanted that. And she did it so often that she got caught photoshopping doctor's notes. Like they found one that was like very clearly the exact same note in the exact same place. Like her hand, the same position, nails the same color, that her nails were no longer when she was out sick. Like it was very, very obvious. And she got caught and she got fired. But again, where was that learned? That was probably learned early in life, and something that she now hopefully grows out of. And it's something that for myself, I was taught not to do it. So now I don't do it now as an adult. And it's something I try to strive to teach my kids to do as well. Oh, you don't feel like it? Good. Those are the days where we grow. Those are the days where we get better. Those are the days where we train our brain. Because the vast majority of the time, when your head leaves the pillow in the morning, there's a lot of things you don't want to do that you absolutely have to do. But you train yourself on the days that you don't want to do the activities that are your leisure, that are your choices. Right? Like if we only exercise when we feel like exercising, not going to exercise all that much. Right? If we only train on the days we feel like training, we're not going to train nearly that much. If you only go to work or go to school on the days we feel like it, we're not going to do that very, very often either. That's why it's so important. Remember, life is going to give you days off naturally. The car is going to need to go to the shop. Kids are going to need to go to the doctor. You're going to go away on vacation. You're going to be legitimately sick. Those things are going to happen often enough that you don't need to schedule in your artificial breaks on the I don't feel like it day. Beat those days. Prove to yourself that you're something better. Right? Show yourself the strength that'll carry you through. So that's all I have for you guys today. As always, you guys can reach me via email, senseileonelli@gmail.com. Find me on Facebook, I'm Sensei James Leonelli. On Twitter and Instagram, I'm at Sensei_Leonelli. Make sure you guys go to YouTube, check out Broadcasters from myself and Alex Cassiano. We got new episodes. Last week we had some scheduling snafus, couldn't put everything together, but we have new episodes dropping Monday, Wednesday, Friday this week and next. We got some really good fights, we got some really good finishes, and we got some really awesome comedy gold. So check it out from me and Alex. Make sure you guys subscribe there too on YouTube. That's going to mean the world to us. We see tons and tons and tons of views. Please, guys, keep that up. But more importantly, interact with the content. Like, comment, subscribe. That means the world. Do the same for this podcast too, please. Like, rate, comment, subscribe. I want to know all those things. I want to see how many people this is reaching. And most important compliment you can give me, guys, share the podcast. There's no greater compliment you can give me. Speaking of Alex and I, you can catch us on commentary on Soleil Streaming and Fubo Sports this Saturday, Flex Fights 51, The Spirit of Vengeance. Check it out. It's going to be awesome. We're right from the heart of Patchogue on Long Island, Stereo Garden. I think tickets might still be available. Check online. Other than that, guys, find my school online, tsmasmithtown.com, facebook.com/TigerSchulmanSmithtown, Twitter and Instagram at tsmma_Smithtown, tsk.com for the whole Tiger Schulman's organization. Hit my link tree for sponsor information. If you're interested in sponsoring the podcast, reach out to me by any of the methods that I gave you. Other than that, my friends, make sure you leave that rate and review. Make sure you share. There is no greater compliment. Until next time, my friends, invest in yourselves. I'll see you guys on the mat.